Lucy and Sophia. Hit it. Bravo!
My sunshine, my only sunshine, making me happy when skies are gray. You never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away.
Yay!
We're gonna win, Twins, we're gonna score. We're gonna win, Twins, watch that baseball soar. Knock out a home run, shout it, hooray! Cheer for the Minnesota Twins today. We're gonna win, Twins, give it our all. We've got the guys who'll knock the cover off the ball. Let's hear it now for the team that came to play. Cheer for the Minnesota Twins today. Minnesota, hats off to thee. To thy colors true we shall ever be. Firm and strong, united are we. Rah, rah, rah for Ski-U-Mah. Rah, 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 rah for the U of M. Minnesota, hats off to thee. To thy colors true we shall ever be. Firm and strong, united are we. Rah, rah, rah for Ski-U-Mah. Rah, 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 rah for the U of M. M-I-N-N-E-S-O-T-A. Minnesota, Minnesota. Yay, Gophers! Rah!
Raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens, blue satin sashes and girls with white mittens, geese, brown paper packages tied up with strings. These are a few of my favorite things. When the dog bites, when the bee stings, when I'm feeling sad, I simply remember my favorite things. Then I don't feel so bad. Pancake robot, coming get on the horn. Pancake robot is coming to town. He's mixing up the batter and he's laying it down. Buttermilk, blueberry, chocolate chip. 500 million pancakes he's gonna flip. Oh, you can eat, yum yum. Oh, you can eat, yum yum. The pancake robot is coming to town. Oh, you can eat, yum yum. Oh, you can eat, yum yum. Pancake explosion, time to party down. Pancake robot, go. My heart shall sing of the day you bring, let the fires of your justice burn. Wipe away all tears, for the dawn draws near and the world is about to turn. My soul cries out with a joyful shout, for the Lord of my heart is great. And my spirit sings of the wondrous things that you give to the ones who wait. You fix your sight on your servant's pride, and my weakness you did not stir. So from east to west shall my name be blessed, for the world is about to turn. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let you get me down now. So my negativity surrounds. I know someday you'll all turn around. All my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. there'll be no more war, and our children can play one day, oh, one day, oh, one day, oh. Oh, give me a home where the buffalo roam, where the deer and the antelope play, where seldom is heard a discouraging word, and the skies are not cloudy all day, and the skies are not cloudy all day. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, with thanksgiving. I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
Hello, children, and also parents. I'm going to play this song called Song of the Wind. And I have the job for the kiddos here. And I'm going to play some circle bows in this song. And could you count them for me, please? Here I go. And first, I'm going to show you what a circle bow is. This is a circle bow. First, I'm going to do one on the A string, and then I'm going to do one on the E string. That's my A string, and here goes my E string. So here the song goes. So, kiddos, I want to listen how many circle bows there were. Let me hear. I hear 8. That is correct.
On a tiny little house down the block, someone put a notice up, and then they came once more with the 24-yard dumpster. It took about 2 hours last Tuesday morn. The backhoe comes, and then it's gone, and it seemed like a metaphor for something. It was once a really fine new house. Then it was a wee old house. And now it's destined for that 24-yard dumpster. It took about 2 hours last Tuesday morn. The backhoe comes, and then it's gone, and it seemed like a metaphor for something. When that linoleum was new in '54, you should have seen that checkerboard. Now it's pieces stored in a 24-yard dumpster. It took about 2 hours last Tuesday morn. The backhoe comes, then it's gone, and it seemed like a metaphor for something. 90 years of climbing narrow stairs, 90 years of praying weary prayers, 90 years of stories told in boards, but the walls just aren't true anymore. Cedar siding that was cupped, grayed and worn, shingle pieces holding on. I stood and watched them go in a 24-yard dumpster. It took about 2 hours last Tuesday morn. The backhoe comes, and then it's gone, and it seemed like a metaphor for something. Yes, it seemed like a metaphor for something.
Hey, Eli, 201 years ago, a little girl was born while it snowed.
Whoa!
Her name was
Susan B. Anthony. Susan B. Anthony.
Now she grew big and she grew wise and she knew she was as able as the guys. Her name was
Susan B. Anthony. Susan B. Anthony.
But in her day, I'm sad to say, blacks and women weren't treated okay till
Susan B. Anthony. Susan B. Anthony.
Black people were owned by whites and women did not have basic rights till
Susan B. Anthony. Susan B. Anthony.
They could not vote, they could not speak, and their own children they could not keep till
Susan B. Anthony. Susan B. Anthony.
Now Susan knew that this was wrong, and she worked her whole life to change the song. Her name is
Susan B. Anthony.
Susan B. Anthony.
She was brave and she was wise and she helped the people organize. Her name is Susan B.
Anthony. Susan B. Anthony.
She helped God's people find the place to be treated fairly. The whole human race. Her name is Susan B.
Anthony. Susan B. Anthony.
We won the vote after her time had come. She helped us fight for freedom. Her name is Susan B.
Anthony. Susan B. Anthony.
So on this day, what do you say? Susan B.
Anthony. Susan B. Anthony.
Happy 201st birthday, Susan! Eli, do you think all people should have equal rights?
Yeah, I do.
Here's a fun piece I've been working on since Mary Price suggested it to us on the day of Epiphany, January 6th. Jesus, the light of the world.
Go.
So I used to practice up in St. Cloud, Minnesota, and I've got a little story I want to tell you that a patient related to me. My patient lived out by Foley, up Highway 23 from St. Cloud, and one day he was at Forreston, Minnesota at Old Home Days. And as part of the day's celebration, there was a Tough Man contest where they invited people to sign up and then in front of a crowd tell a story about something they did that made them really tough, that demonstrated their masculinity and toughness. And so this patient of mine, who was an old farmer in his 70s, signed up, and he found himself on stage with 7 other guys, all younger than he was, many much younger. And he was the 5th one to be speaking that afternoon. And so the first 5 got up and told their stories, and then he got up and he told the story that really started the previous fall. It was November, and he was out combining, and he started and told the crowd that, you know, that I live up in Foley where I have 160 acres that I farm, the family homestead, but I also rent 80 acres down here by Forreston. And my story is, last November I was out combining the corn, and it was late in the day and it had gotten dark, but I was pushing it because it was late in the season, and I took a little more time off for deer hunting than I intended to. So I was pushing it hard, and as I'm going along, the combine got stuck, it got jammed. And I hopped out of the cab and went and looked around the front, and sure enough, there was a rock there binding up the blades. And I knew better, but as I told you, I was pushing it, and it had been a long day, and I should have known better, but I went and hit it with my hand, and sure enough, the rock gave way, the blade slipped, and it cut my hand off. And I was just shocked, and I had the wits, though. I pulled my belt off, tied a tourniquet around my wrist, and then I reached with another hand, grabbed my hand, and I thought, if I can make it home, my wife can get me to the hospital, either in St. Cloud or in Princeton, and they can take care of me. So I drove home, barely making it into the farmyard, and lo and behold, my wife's car is gone. I was like, oh no, it's Wednesday night. She's at church services. And I knew I did not have the strength to get into town to the hospital. So I went in and I got her sewing kit out, and I sewed my hand back on. And as he said this, everyone in the audience was kind of oohing and ahhing, and some were kind of clenching their stomachs, and the guys up on stage are just, they can't believe this. And they all said, oh my God, that is the toughest thing we've heard anyone do. You win the prize. You get the prize. And my patient said, really? I win the prize and the $100 check? And I said, absolutely, you win the prize. And then my patient said, all right. Stopped it. He's got a job selling agriculture equipment for a local distributor in Iowa. And he told me this story that one day he was driving down this section line road between farms, and he's going along making some calls at farms, and he saw this pig out in a farmyard with a wooden leg. And he thought, my God, there's got to be a story here. So he backed up, pulled into the farmyard, and knocked on the door, and a woman came to the door, and he said, say, I was driving down the road, and I noticed your pig. And the woman said, oh my God, that is some pig. Let me tell you about that pig. A few years ago, we had a fire here in the house in the middle of the night, and that pig smelled the smoke, burst out of his pen in the barn, burst out the barn door, burst into our house, came upstairs, woke up my husband and myself, then went and grabbed our son and pulled him down the stairs by his hair out into the yard. That pig saved our lives. And my friend said, yeah, and the woman said, let me tell you something else about that pig. 2 years ago, robbers broke into our house in the middle of the night. That pig heard our screams, burst out of his pen, burst out the barn door, burst into the house, kicked one of the burglars and knocked him out, and sat on the other until the sheriff came. That is some pig. My friend said, yeah, he said, let me tell you one other story about that pig. This spring, my husband and son and I were walking along the riverbank, watching all the snow melt and the runoff when the bank gave way, and I got swept off into the current, and I'm yelling and hooing, and my husband and son are running along the bank, but they can't catch me.
Well, that pig, he heard my screams, burst out of his pen, burst through the barn door, leapt into the river, swam down, grabbed me, and then held on with one of his little trotters until my son and my husband could come and get us out of the river. And my friend said, wow, that is some pig. But what's with the wooden leg? And the woman said, well, you wouldn't eat a pig like that all at once, would you?
Father was reading a Bible story to his young child. He read, "The man named Lot was warned to take his wife and flee out of the city. But his wife looked back and was turned to salt." The child asked, "What happened to the flea?"
Presenting Lucy Sealander's grandsons, Jack and Luke Schubert.
Hi, Grandma.
Bye, Grandma.
Love you.
I'm gonna see how many jumps I'm gonna do from on the ground stair to front door.
One,
Two,
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Was that 12 jumps, Will?
Yeah.
Great job. Is there anything else you want to share for the talent show? Do you want to share a joke? Any jokes?
Okay.
Okay, what joke do you want to tell?
Why was 6 afraid of 7? Because 7, 8, 9.
Oh, good one. Thanks, Will.
Hi, Dan Swenson-Clad. I'd like to tell you a story. You see, it seems we're in a time that feels like quite a journey, quite a test even. How are we going to make it to the end of this pandemic? Can we make it? Are we going to pass this test? So, I'd like to tell you a story I've told before. It's about how I survived my 7th grade swim test, even though I couldn't swim. You see, I never thought I'd live through my 7th grade swimming test because even though we had practiced swimming for so many weeks, I was becoming a prune. I still couldn't get my face to stay in the water because I thought if I did, water would rush up my nose and ears, and if I kept my mouth shut, I'd drown right there in the Maplewood Junior High pool, which was too chlorinated, way too warm, so I felt like the rainforest, but at least that was better than the freezing cold Silver Lake Beach where my mom forced me to spend the first days off of school each June, turning blue and shivering so much the instructors would stop trying to get me to blow bubbles and would let me wrap up in my scratchy brown beach towel, which was actually better than the junior high swimming class because I couldn't get a towel until after I had showered with the 35 other naked boys, which was not my idea of motivation. But neither was the 50-yard swim test because I couldn't swim 5 feet without putting my feet on the bottom, and that's not a problem when in the 3-foot end, but it's considerably harder in the 10-foot end, where I was certain there was an octopus ready to grab my foot and hold me down. But that's another story. And for the 50-yard swim, I wasn't thinking about that at all. I was just waiting for everybody else to finish, and Jimmy O'Doherty, who was on the swim team and could beat the 9th graders and had finished in 27 seconds, and even Tubby Gottnord, who splashed around with me and the baby under the pool, was able to paddle his way back in under 2 minutes. And hey, I kept hoping for the bell to ring so I could go to the showers, even though I hated the showers. And Mr. Piersdorf, who was the meanest, toughest gym teacher in the world with a big block chest and a deep raspy voice that he had learned to use as a drill sergeant in the Marines and made stupid jokes that only he'd laugh at, was now calling my name out loud, saying, "Hey, Clat, your turn to get up on the blocks." And I did get up on the block, only because I was too afraid of him than the water. And I picked the block that was closest to the edge so I'd have a safe place to go as soon as I hit the water. And he yelled, "Go," before I was ready. And I jumped in anyway, began to panic as I hit the water, and I felt the bottom with my feet and paddled to the side to hold on when my feet wouldn't reach anymore. And I tried not to touch the bottom, but I was afraid, so I kept sticking them down to make sure the bottom hadn't disappeared. And then Mr. Piersdorf's booming voice right above me was yelling, "Come on, Clat, keep kicking those feet." But I instead tried to reach the side wall, hoped it wouldn't disappear too. And as I got a hand to it, Mr. Piersdorf yelled again, "Don't hang on, use your arms for paddling." And I tried to paddle a couple times, but my paddling couldn't keep me up, and the bottom was disappearing, so I reached over again, and Mr. Piersdorf tried to step on my hand to keep me going, and I just tried to reach a little farther so he wouldn't step on me, and I could feel myself starting to cry, because all the other swimmers were finishing up, and I thought, oh no, the deep end is coming, and I didn't want to go any farther, and I tried to just hang on to the wall, but Mr. Piersdorf got down next to me and began yelling, "Let go and swim," and I wanted to yell back, "I can't let go, I can't swim, I'll sink to the bottom of the deep end, and the octopus will hold me down there forever." And I can tell I'm breathing really fast, but I can't feel my legs anymore, and I just want to get out. And Mr. Piersdorf keeps saying over and over, "Come on, Clat, keep paddling." And I let go and paddle a stroke and grab the side, paddle again and grab the side and just keep going until somehow I'm at the deep end of the pool. And all I have to do is go back. And that's easier because I'm heading back for the shallow water. But it's harder because now all the boys are standing down there watching me and they're not laughing anymore. And they look kind of sad and even scared and maybe even pity me because Mr. Piersdorf keeps yelling, "Don't hold on," keeps checking his stopwatch. And I keep trying to paddle and slide along. And finally, I feel the blessed bottom reach up and the octopus can't get me anymore because it's too shallow. And soon I'm nearing the end and I touch the end and Mr. Piersdorf says, 3 minutes and 19 seconds, Clat. And 2 boys help me get out of the water. And Mr. Piersdorf says, "Okay, everybody, that's enough. Let's go to the showers." And I think, oh, great. I'll finally get a towel.
I feel like I want to say this out loud. It's a struggle, but the world needs to hear. Slavery went away, but there's still trouble today, and we don't have to live in fear. Remember the history. Think about the future. Fight for freedom. Fight for freedom. He's black and I'm white, but I'm standing up for the black man's right. Gender, culture, disability, sexuality. Stand up with me. Remember the history. Think about the future. Fight for freedom. Fight for freedom. Fight for freedom. Fight for freedom.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna do these three tricks, which will take a kind of longish amount of time, and then these three tricks that will take a short amount of time. So I'm gonna start now. I'm gonna take the cover off the ball. Here is the ball. I'm gonna make this ball disappear by putting this cover on the ball, and then ta-da! See? And then whoop, it's not here anymore. Okay, and then here's my next trick. I'm gonna make my daddy come here just by tapping my wand on the floor. Ta-da! Okay, my daddy will help me perform my next trick. So, he's gonna take the cover off this cap, and then you'll see this dice. He's gonna put it on one face like this, there, and then he'll put the cover on the, and then I will see what he, and then I'll just say what he picked without even looking. Okay, see this? Now, the face he picked was happy. That's it. What? Oh, it's mad. So he picked mad. So he.
All right, moving on.
Okay, these few tricks I'm gonna have him go with. So. Okay, so see this? I'm gonna make this card disappear. The King of Hearts. I'm gonna set it here, and then I'm gonna close this magic thing like that, and then I'm gonna open it. Ta-da! Now, this trick might seem a little scary to you, because I'm gonna chop my own finger off without even letting, and it's just gonna stay there. Okay, but see, I'm gonna use this finger chopper thing. Okay, Sorry about that. I'll need a different finger. Like that. Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna do my. Okay, like this. And chop. Ugh. Okay, I'm so sorry. I'm just gonna have the hands come again. Daddy's gonna show you so you can just see.
Ah!
Okay, so I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry. So see this little street light? I'm gonna make it this side change its position by look at this. Now let's go to the other side. I'm gonna make it go into a different position. Ta-da! Okay. Now see this piece of rope? See how it can move? I'm just gonna cut it in half like that. See? It's like that. Now watch what's gonna happen. I put it back together and what?
Wow. Impressive.
No, I don't know how this took. I know how all these tricks work, but don't ask me because a magician never gives away his secrets.
Alice Lee stood awaiting her lover one night, her cheeks flushed and glowing, her eyes full of light. She placed a sweet rose mid her wild flowing hair. No flower of the forest e'er looked half so fair as she did that night, as she stood by the door of the cot where she dwelt by the side of the moor. She heard a quick step coming over the moor, and a merry voice which she had oft heard before, and ere she could speak a strong arm held her fast, and a manly voice whispered,
"I've come, love, at last. I'm sorry that I've kept you waiting like this, but I know you'll forgive me. Then give me a kiss."
But she shook the bright curls on her beautiful head, and she drew herself up while quite proudly she said, "Now, William, I'll prove if you really are true, for you say you love me. I don't think you do. If really you love me, you must give up the wine, for the lips that touch liquor shall never touch mine."
He looked quite amazed. "Why, Alice, 'tis clear you really are getting quite jealous, my dear."
"In that you are right," she replied. "So you see, you'll soon love the liquor far better than me. I'm jealous, I own, of the poisonous wine, and the lips that touch liquor shall never touch mine." He turned then quite angry.
"Confound it," he said. "What nonsense you've got in your dear little head, but I'll see if I cannot remove it from hence."
She said, "'Tis not nonsense, 'tis plain common sense, and I mean what I say, and this you will find, I don't often change when I've made up my mind." He stood all resolute, angry, perplexed. She never before saw him look half so vexed. But she said, "If he talks all his life, I won't flinch." And he talked, but he never could move her an inch. He then bitterly cried, with a look and a groan,
"Oh, Alice, your heart is as hard as a stone."
But though her heart beat in his favour quite loud, she still firmly kept to the vow she had vowed, and at last, without even a tear or a sigh, she said, "I am going, Sir William, good-bye."
"Nay, stay,"
he then said,
"I'll choose one of the two. I'll give up the liquor in favour of you."
Now William had often great cause to rejoice, for the hour he had made sweet Alice his choice, and he blessed through the whole of a long useful life the fate that had given him his dear little wife. And she, by her firmness, won to us that night one who in our cause is an ornament bright. Oh, that each fair girl in our abstinence band would say, "I'll ne'er give my heart or my hand unto one who I ever had reason to think would taste one small drop of the vile cursed drink." But say, when you are wooed, "I'm a foe to the wine, and the lips that touch liquor shall never touch mine."